Hold on.
she
Okay.
wants.
Oh,
Oh,
hold on.
because
Hold on. You still looking at it from a different mind
yes,
space, bro. Have you ever had that unconditional love when you was a teenager?
I loved everybody for about 5 minutes.
Okay,
there you
you
go.
avoiding he's avoiding the answer. Okay, oh, the
I'm
question. All
being
right,
for real.
check it out.
Now,
Hold up.
I don't mean that in a sexual way. I mean
Have you?
that in that, dang, she
No,
likes me, I
no,
like her, I'm
no,
crazy about it.
no. I'm talking about have you ever had that unconditional? Because back then you don't. Love is not tainted. Love is not tainted at the 15 years old. If have you
It's
ever had that?
puppy love.
Have we call it
And puppy
puppy
love is
love?
not
See,
real
we
love.
call it pup love. We call it having a crush. We call it all of that.
The
But
honeymoon.
if you don't know any better,
Hmm.
that's love to you.
Yep.
That's love to you.
Temporarily.
That's unconditional.
Temporarily.
You don't know any of the other stuff. You haven't had your heart broken or anything like that. All you know is
That's
that
what I'm saying.
I like this girl. She is the one for me. She's beautiful in my eyes or whatever. And he pursued her.
Yep.
She didn't like him at first, and then later on she said, "Hey, I need somebody to go with me in order to go on this thing." He said, more than willing, because that's the girl of his dreams.
Hmm.
I'll go with you.
How much time would you put betting odds on this last thing?
How much would I bet on this lasting?
Not how much. How much time would you put on how long it'll last? Because
um,
I know deep in your mind and all three of our minds, we know it's not gonna last.
um, um, I'm just gonna look at this for what it is, right? Um, I'm just gonna say that good people, what's happening now? How y'all doing? This is your man Steve O, my brother from another mother, my man CJ.
What's
And
good?
today we brought a guest on today, my man the Don, you know what I'm saying? And we're gonna talk about a little bit of, kind of sports, yeah, so to speak, or whatever. But Don, introduce yourself to the people out here, because this is another episode of the good, the bad, and the game.
There we go.
The
There we go.
game.
Hey, I appreciate y'all having me on. Yeah, I met Steve and CJ a couple years ago. We worked together. Um, and they the OGs. They give me a lot of game, and I feel like maybe this is where the inception of the podcast came from in a way. You know what I mean? It's just the conversations we've had, probably the conversations they've been having like the whole time they known each other. So yeah, it's definitely been insightful being around them and Ray as well. And it's a privilege, and I appreciate y'all having me on. So should have some fun today.
My man.
Welcome, my brother. Welcome.
All right. Well, one of the things that we were gonna pretty much chop it up about. I remember me and CJ actually, and you too, Don. We were got into a discussion about Travis Hunter, because everybody seems to be all on his girl, that he recent girlfriend or whatever, that he
Fiancé.
seems to be really digging. He's really feeling her and all that. But there seems to be some kind of debate going on about whether she's feeling him.
Mm.
All right. I don't know. I think she said something, or she might have mentioned something about her not being, uh, him not being her type. All right. In the very
Well,
beginning,
well,
I know that sparked off a conversation, and I think we got some video we could talk about it. And
well, well. It was incident after Travis had like his best game in college football that spurred on this whole debate. And what that was that uh, he just finished playing the game of his life, and when he went over to her and put his hand around her and hugging her and talking, she gave him like the gas face and standoffishness, and then they somehow got her words, and she was saying something about how he was ran up to those cheerleader girls or something and did something.
oh,
So
an insecure
that's
moment. Okay, got you.
There we
Got
go.
you.
so that's what caused them to go back and look at all of this stuff about how she said she wasn't attracted to him from the beginning. That's
Well,
just for context. It's a little
I
deeper than that.
I got you. I feel you now. So from that point, that's what made him start going back into some of the things that she might have said, whatever. They're young. They're young people. You know what I'm saying? They're not necessarily as mature as some women or some men that are older. That she might be able to check her insecurities a little bit and be like, "Hey, that's mine. That's me. I don't have to worry about that." Plus, it seems like he's feeling her a lot. Um,
Mm-mm-mm.
That's part of the problem.
That's the whole problem.
That he's all in, and according to what social media is saying, she's not,
and we're
and she
saying this
doesn't.
big.
I think people start things because I don't know, many different reasons. It could be jealousy, it could be true, it could be anything. But for social media, it don't even have to have a cause. It just takes on legs of its own.
So it's are we
A real
saying
call.
that are we saying that because she made a comment beforehand? Remember, she had an insecure moment at the game. She didn't like him going up to the cheerleaders doing this thing or whatever. And I mean, he's caught up in the moment. You're playing sports, you just had the game of your life, caught up in the moment. You doing this for the fans, whatever, and you went to cheerleaders.
Hmm.
I guess
Well,
she didn't.
I wish we really had that footage because what he did when he went up to the girl was nothing that warranted
Right,
all this.
She
right. So
had more than one instance. She's had more than one instance with her showing that some sort of insecurity or some sort of behavior that shows that she's not really all that interested in Travis, or as spectators would say, or spectators would dictate, not all that good for his overall well-being. There was another incident where he was doing a photo shoot. He's doing like some pictures with some of fans or whatever. And she sat, she was sitting down waiting or whatever. I don't even know why she was there in the first place. She could have been somewhere else waiting. And she was sitting down waiting while he's taking pictures of fans. And she was like, "Am I supposed to just sit here the whole time?" You can audibly hear this. Am I supposed to just sit? And I'm
Wow.
like, bro,
hmm,
like this man is a Heisman winner. He may be the first pick in the draft this next year. And you should be blessed to be along for the ride. I'm not saying like she should worship the ground he stands on, but at the same
hmm.
time,
No, no. Basically,
I am saying that.
there's a bit. No, no, no. Basically, there's a billion
Maybe I
people
gotta say
out there that would worship the ground he's standing on. And
that.
even though she might pride herself as not being one of them, the only thing she'll be doing if she didn't when they separate is saving face because this opportunity of a lifetime like this don't come around that often.
And it won't, so a lot of fans and a lot of people that are just paying attention on social media or whatever are very inclined to think that she is not good for him down the road, and they're already engaged, so and they've been dating for 5 years, so but
5 years. That's a long time.
5 years
That's a long time. So
That's
green.
a long time for somebody that don't really care about a mug, right?
Well, I would say it's a long time for somebody that has never dated all that much in general. Like he's like what, 20, 21. So
Yeah,
5. How much experience do
yeah.
you think he had?
well, how old is
But
she?
She, I believe, is a year younger than him or his age.
you
But
gotta
they've been
think
together
though.
for 5 years.
Yeah, high school, I guess. High school or something like that.
Yes.
So they've known each other for quite some time now.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Since high school or so.
So
I go ahead, go ahead. Do you think?
I, I was gonna say, so I mean, it's not like she came out of nowhere or whatever, you know what I'm saying, and didn't realize who this person is. She's known who this person is for 5 years since high school. So she knows who he is. She's been there before any of the recognition, I guess, so to speak. You know,
That's
so
that's true.
so and maybe she's just having a little bit of difficulty dealing with the success as far as the attention that's coming his way.
My
Maybe that.
I
You know,
think one thing you said earlier, I think she's acting young to the situation because she's never experienced anything like
Mm.
this. One,
exactly.
two,
My
she
point
doesn't
being,
know she don't know the magnitude of what's happening. I guess she's learning now because she got a billion bitches in her ear right now
yeah,
telling her.
it's a new experience. Now, if this had been somebody that he met 3 months ago,
Uh-huh.
and he was really, pursuing, because he pursued her now, and he was
Yes.
pursuing this girl, just met her 3 months ago, and she was giving him the gas face. She was like, "Hey, I don't have nothing to do with you, blah, 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 blah." Then all of a sudden, somebody got in the ear and said, "Yo, hey, yo, you know who that is?
Yeah.
Hey, yo, that kid right there is going to the NFL, yo. That
Mhm.
cat is about to make some money and whatnot." And then
Interesting.
they tune her up, and then next thing you know, she's like, "You know what? At first, when I met you, I didn't, but now that I got to know you over the past two, 3
Get her
months."
out of here.
Yeah.
Get her out
No.
of here. Pack her
What
up.
somebody should
Pack
say,
her up.
somebody should say is, look over there. You see that line of chicks? They waiting for you to fuck up. You see that line that you can't see the end of? They waiting for you to fuck up.
And a lot of them probably finer than her too. A
And
lot
way
of
Well,
them.
finer. Way finer.
okay.
She's like
Okay.
average compared to that.
I'm actually taking a little different spin on this because I remember we got into a pretty um, deep conversation about this.
Yeah.
But 5 years? Come on, fellas. five
I,
years?
I
Years,
don't even believe it's 5 years, but they
but
put
I
that
feel
out
like
there.
the point you're arguing, Steve, is that because she's been around for the long haul, she sees who he is as a person. And you're not wrong, but that doesn't mean that the reason that she attached herself to him is because of who he was. It was because of his potential, more than likely. If you found out that
But
this guy is going to be great in college and potentially NFL, you're going to
but
switch things up.
he pursued her, right?
He did.
How many people nowadays are truly in love?
That I don't know.
Couples.
Well,
How
shit,
many
I can't give you
couples
no
are
answer
truly
on
in
that.
love? Everybody nowadays, it's like whoever
Hold up,
we would be
hold up,
good
hold
for
up.
each other for whatever reason.
Hold up. If you're gonna ask that question, you may as well ask how many people know what love is.
Mm.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, there's a lot of motherfuckers running around here that don't know what love is.
You
You
raise
know what I'm saying?
your
You know what I'm saying? So, I think, of course, we're more mature, we're older and whatnot. If you was to ask the young Steve back in the day, you know, 20 years old, whatever, she fine. That's all the requirement was.
Mm-mm.
Remember, we talked about this before, CJ. She fine. That's all the requirement. That's all it is. She fine.
Facts.
What
And
age
that's
would you say?
huh?
What age would you say like that you had that mentality?
Twenty,
What when I had that in
20
my
to
like
30.
20,
Or
like 20,
20.
no, I said 20. I say 20, young 20, like 2021, somewhere around there.
Okay. Okay,
All
got you.
right. She fine, same way when you was in high school. She fine.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all the requirements you needed.
Fact. Yeah,
But
fact.
it's not until after you mature, you get a little older, you
Mm-hmm.
you go through some debates, you go through trying to learn another person and realizing that that person is going to be who they are and
Yeah.
you are who you are, and then the two of y'all just coming together, you know what I'm saying, and realize that I'm not trying to change her and she's not trying to change me, right? So what you do is you start your list gets a little bit, your requirements get a little bit higher. You start
Good.
having a
You should.
longer list. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like you start looking for somebody that how can we deal with our differences,
Yeah.
to where we're not gonna have to deal with just straight up bickering, arguing, and all that kind of stuff. So you learn some things on the way. How old
You
is
don't
he?
want to go. Yeah, Travis is 21, about to be
21.
21.
And she's what? 20? Is she 21 too?
20, 20.
She's 20. Eh, Come on, man.
They don't know nothing right now. And
you
maybe,
know.
maybe, maybe it could be that her attitude is such that, she's still in that stage where she hasn't even got to her little general young wild stage yet, and may not even
Well,
get it.
you gotta remember. I think he said something. It was a video that Ray, and he was saying something about that. I'm not sure if you heard that, but he was saying she was saying something about he wasn't her type
Yeah.
to begin with,
Yep.
right? Saying that he wasn't her type. So here it is right here. Let's just take a look at it real quick.
See what's going on.
It's kind of low. I can't even really hear what she's saying.
We're
Is it on
not
me?
getting any audio right now.
Yeah, but I believe this is the video
Mm-hmm.
where she was basically saying that he wasn't her type. She kept him in the DM for a little while, right?
Yeah, run it down. Run it down.
And, to where she pretty much friend zoned him. She put him in the friend zone. You know what I'm saying? Because she wasn't she wasn't her type. To me, that's like I'm not attracted to you. That's the way I look at it.
Oh,
Because
I want to
usually the
ask. I want to ask Don a question right after I allude to how they finally got a point to break it down because he's closer in age and you might understand it. I just want to hear his point if you don't
Mhm.
mind. All right, so
Okay,
what ended up
okay.
happening, Don? They was going back and forth, and for a couple of months they just was DMing, DMing. Then a couple of months more they was DMing,
Mm-hmm.
DMing, and then eventually she wanted to go out to some place, and she needed an escort. So Travis volunteered, and they went escorted, and basically they never looked back. Is
Okay.
that, in your opinion, the way that a good relationship should start, or do you have an opinion on it? Because everybody's relationship starts differently, because everybody
Hmm.
have all different motives. But what do you think about how that started as it applies to the way they're prefacing this whole situation now?
She's the one that wanted to go out after a while. Is that what you said?
She wanted, or he wanted, he was all in from the door,
Yeah.
but he volunteered to go on this function with her,
Mm-hmm.
Because
and
she didn't have
after they
anybody to
went
go with her.
right, and after they went on this function, then uh, they never looked back. They became a
And
thing.
I okay.
Right.
So
Hmm.
just your input on that transpiring with the younger generation today, and then turning it and prefacing it with this stuff that's going on with them too, as from the social media view.
Um, I don't really see nothing wrong with that. Truth be told, um, that he was initiating, and then she eventually gave the idea to let's go out, and you know what I mean, and things worked out from there. I don't think it matters you know if she shows mutual interest. What was it like at the beginning? At the beginning, he was trying to get things going, but she didn't really know him, right?
Well, she was guarded, and then after they talked to each other for the first 2 months, it was
That's
getting
solid.
better.
Yeah,
And
that's
that's in my
Hmm.
opinion. I share the same thing, and I believe Steve does too.
yeah.
So I just wanted to get your point of view on it because we
Mhm.
went back and forth on it before you got on it, and
Oh, okay.
yeah, so the people can understand, how we all think about it.
Yeah, I
I
don't
don't have a
really.
problem with it because every any relationships I was in, half of the time I can't even remember how they started.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be a problem or with me, but you know what I'm saying? But
Possible.
they're trying to hold her in contempt for everything.
Mhm.
And yeah, there's a couple of things that you make you scratch your head. But the one you talked about earlier. What did
Yeah.
you say earlier? Go ahead, mention that to the people.
You talking
When
about when it was you talking about me or when something I
yeah,
meant? Oh yeah, when when he was taking pictures with the fans and everything, and she was just sitting down, saying, "Oh, am I supposed to just sit here the whole time?" It's like you don't have to
right,
place.
right. See,
Well,
that's just a person with their own opinion, even though she's supposed to be totally committed.
look,
Yeah,
You
he's
look,
know,
a
look,
superstar.
look.
terrible.
Okay. Come on now. Come on now. When when haven't you guys been in a relationship where she didn't want to be the center of attention? All right.
She wasn't
Okay.
in that
The
situation.
no, the center of your attention.
Oh, um,
Okay. Come on. Come on
yeah,
now.
When
actually,
have you been in a relationship when they didn't want to be the center of our attention?
No,
Uh,
when they know when right, where they wanted to be the center of your attention.
Hmm.
So in other words, and you got to remember they young and she's young. So of course she don't want you giving some other some
yeah,
other
but
girls or whatever
she
any
she
attention.
obviously wasn't she obviously wasn't aware of that long line we talked about.
Well,
Green.
insecurities are
Or
They're both.
insecurities. Period.
Hmm.
Mhm.
They're both green.
So
So. Mm-mm-mm.
Huh?
they're
I said
very
they're both
So
green.
green. So it's
yeah,
they both learning, but at the same time, I feel like that's something that's innate. Like whether, like yes, they don't. She is not familiar with the situation, but somebody that is more uh, um what's the word? Somebody that wants to be that is less selfish, that is more considerate. There we go. Somebody's more considerate will see that okay, this person has their own event, and it's not about me right now. And then somebody
right. True.
that way. That's just in you or it's not. You know.
Yeah. True.
So once
You
you
you know
True.
you
it's
want
not
to know who she brings to mind for me?
what
Steph Curry's wife.
You
Aisha
know
Curry.
what? You know what? I ain't gonna
Here's why
lie. I
she
ain't gonna
brings her
lie.
to
I was
mind
thinking
because
that.
How?
Steph Curry is that dude, and
Yes.
he's
Right.
going to get magnitude of attention all over the place. All the
Hmm.
while, when Steph hit the limelight and didn't have those injuries anymore, and he blew up and the Warriors won them championships,
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Steph was getting attention to a point where nobody can keep up with it.
And
And
she did get a
she
little
honestly
insecure
didn't
there.
like that. She wanted the
Right.
attention. For whatever
Right.
reason, she wanted the attention. So this began to me is the beginning of another Aisha with her. But
But not okay.
she will stay if she does act like Aisha, she will stay in the relationship and stay grounded and do what she got to do. And that's what matters the most. But
Yeah.
Hmm.
I believe that when Steph's career is over, Aisha gonna float away somewhere.
What?
And
Why would you do
because
that?
she's gonna be able to, she's gonna have all the kids she wants. She's gonna have all the money she wants, and she's always been greedy for her own, you
Money.
know, attention
Attention.
by being a chef and doing her own thing and starting Aisha something, whatever it was, instead of a Curry thing, it was an Aisha thing. If you understand what I'm saying.
I got
And
Okay.
I
Okay.
believe once he's out of the limelight, it's not going to be there. But I don't want to go too
Well,
far because I know we got like not too long on this podcast. But
right.
she brings the thought, things like that.
I was thinking about that. I agree with you too, just for a slight bit, because I did say, God, this kind of reminds me of Steph's wife. But that was a moment in time where she kind of hungered for the same type of attention that he was
Exactly.
getting, and I
She didn't
felt
do nothing
that.
to earn it though.
Well, I mean, my thing is that you don't want to be in the shadow of whoever it is that you're dealing with all your life. You gotta have your own thing going. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
but
saying?
even if you have your own thing going, his own thing turns out to be in the spotlight of all.
Right.
Your
True.
own thing
True.
doesn't necessarily mean that you are meant to be in
Right.
the spotlight of all. So she's still
Exactly.
trying to
Exactly.
ride his wave. Do you
Right.
understand what I'm saying?
That's true. That's true. Now,
That's pretty
but
sharp, though. That's strong with it.
what? What? Okay. I agree with you. That's all you get. What more you want?
Oh man,
Hey,
I just
but this,
I just wanted
but
that moment for a second.
but
I'm
this,
like
but
Steph Aisha right now.
but this young girl, this young girl, this young guy, 5 years? Whew,
If that
5 years? Come on, bro. You can't. You can't.
It's not 5 years with a 25-year-old and a 25-year-old going to 30, 31. There's a
It's
15. Like they don't know nothing.
yeah, they
yeah,
don't
but
know. Actually,
it's still 5 years. It's still 5 years. All right.
so what does that
Now,
count? What's your point on the 5 years?
because they've been around each other long enough in order to know each other. I guarantee you that when he was first doing this thing and all that, ain't nobody was really checking for him like they doing now.
Including
So,
her.
well, including her in the very beginning, but 5 years. Come on.
Yeah, but
And
if it was
hold on.
five,
Is that
if it
true?
was
Is that true?
truly,
Is it true?
it's
5 years.
probably
Is five
true.
years
It's
true?
probably true. But listen, if it was truly true, you gonna hold a 15-year-old in contempt because she really didn't like him at first? How is the social media world gonna hold a 15-year-old in contempt because she didn't like him at first?
That's not
Why?
the
Why are they? Well, I wouldn't. I
Yeah,
wouldn't
the
hold her
same.
to that.
She's not even responsible for fucking cleaning her room yet.
Oh yes, she is. Fucking 15
No.
years old. Get your ass in
Okay.
there, clean that room.
Okay. Well, you know,
Hold up, hold up.
just the purpose situation.
Rover.
But I'm saying is that five. You can't just negate 5 years, bro. That
Mm,
means that the two of them
That's
that don't
five
need.
young years. 5 young years. You
5 young.
Okay,
haven't
they
even seen the things
okay,
you're gonna see yet.
okay. They 5 young years. They're still 5 years.
Did y'all know
Young,
anybody?
still 5 years of the two of them knowing each other, getting to know each other, being around each other on a regular basis. 5 years. All right. 5 years of him knowing that he got a jealous woman on his hands.
But
All
he
All
didn't
right,
right.
listen to this. Listen to this, bro.
normal because
When you and I and maybe even Don, when we was 15 and we met a girl,
Mm-hmm.
we didn't wife him for no 5 years at 15,
Mm. I
did
mean,
we?
That
but you
doesn't mean that it doesn't happen, bro.
it's
All
fine.
right.
I,
You
but
gotta
you can't even with
look.
it happening.
Mm.
It's so erratic. There's no way it can be sustainable. Really,
Why you say that?
they still haven't learned
What?
what they're gonna learn. You
Bro,
you
they
you
still.
haven't even learned. You haven't even
they're-
learned what it was like to live with this mug for two
Hey
years
yo,
yet.
hey yo, stop trying to put a 30 year or 40 year old into a 15-year old mindset. Stop. So stop looking
That's
for
what
them
you're
to
doing.
act as. No,
But that's
no,
what
it's
you're doing.
not
You're
what I'm
saying
doing.
5 years.
No,
Five.
that's
If
not
I
what
was
I'm
with
doing.
somebody for 5 years in high school, I wouldn't want a goddamn thing to do with them now. Later,
But
because
you're
you done
That's
moved on. You
your
grew
grown
up,
that's you.
huh?
you're using your
That's
you're using
Say
your
that again.
I,
I say you're using your grown mind to
That's true. That's
what I'm
absolutely
saying.
true. It's coming
When
from a
it, comes,
different
when
place.
it comes to him, you have to realize there's some guys that feel like, okay, I just want to do whatever I want. I want autonomy. I want to date girls. I want to just because they feel like they can do
mhm,
that. Whereas this other guys, like Travis, might not have felt like I can get any girl or I could just find a girl. Like he might just be like, oh, this is the one, and we linked up and there's a chemistry. He doesn't know any better. You know what I mean?
mhm.
So you might
You,
have that
you
might have had the
you
mindset
hope you
finally.
hope that, but I don't care what you look like. If you was a superstar the day you
No,
walked into
we,
high school,
we know this.
Travis Travis had
Right.
every single woman he could possibly have in high school.
But
Hold on.
she
Maybe
Okay.
one.
Oh,
oh
hold on.
because
Hold on. You still looking at it from a different mind
yes.
space, bro. Have you ever had that unconditional love when you was a teenager?
I loved everybody for about 5 minutes.
There
Okay,
you go.
he's avoiding the answer. Okay, the
I'm
question. All
being
right,
for real.
check it out.
Now
Hold up.
I don't mean that in a sexual way. I mean
Have you?
that in that, dang, she
No,
likes me, I
no,
like her, I'm
no,
crazy about it.
no. I'm talking about have you ever had that unconditional? Because back then, love is not tainted. Love is not tainted at the 15 years old. If have you
It's
ever had that?
puppy love.
Have we call it
And puppy
puppy
love is
love?
not
See,
real
we
love.
call it pup love. We call it having a crush. We call it all of that.
The
But
honeymoon.
if you don't know any better,
Mm-hmm.
that's love to you.
Yep.
That's love to you.
Temporarily.
That's unconditional.
Temporarily.
You don't know any of the other stuff. You haven't had your heart broken or anything like that. All you know is
That's
that
what I'm saying.
I like this girl. She is the one for me. She's beautiful in my eyes or whatever. And he pursued her.
Yep.
She didn't like him at first, and then later on she said, "Hey, I need somebody to go with me in order to go on this thing." He said, more than willing, because that's the girl of his dreams.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go with you. Then all of a sudden she's like, you know what? All of a sudden they started kind of vibing on each other. All right. Now, mind you, it's not tainted. Not yet. All right. So the only way it gets tainted is when you think that this is the way it's supposed to be, and it doesn't go that way. And you're like, wow, hold on.
I got a problem. Yeah.
What's
Hey,
how do I react? How do I deal with this? Well,
Exactly.
right now she's dealing with a bunch of attention that he's getting, which she's probably getting for the first time. It's different when you was in it's different when you was in high school. High school, you're just getting attention from them people that's actually in the high school.
Mm-hmm.
Girls trying to come around, be like, yeah, you better not fuck with him because he dealing with so and so. This is the world, baby. This is the world now. All
Mm-hmm.
right. This attention is coming from everywhere, all over the place. Some of them for the wrong reasons. You know what I'm saying? Because he's so young, you know how many he's trying to snatch at this kid because of his money that he's prospected money. You know how many probably gonna be going after him to get him away from her. You know what I'm
So
saying?
let me just ask you this. This is a
Okay,
good question.
okay.
How much times would you put betting odds on this last thing?
How much would I bet on this lasting?
Not how much. How much time would you put on how long it'll last? Because
um,
I know deep in your mind and all three of our minds, we know it's not gonna last.
um, um, I'm just gonna look at this for what it is, right? Um, I'm just gonna say that you could ask me that same question on people we know. You could ask the same, excuse me, you could ask the same question on Dom and his relationship or whatever, and be
Mm-hmm.
like, hey, you know what? Depending on how it is, you could ask the same thing. How long is it gonna last? This particular one, since you asked me the question, this particular one, um, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I know that there's some insecurity problems that's showing its ugly head, especially
All
when
I
it
wanted
comes
to
down to
know
how
is,
she
man,
is.
something. All I was
Numbers.
asking for is
How long I
numbers.
think is a well, fuck. I ain't a marriage
Because
counselor, shit
no,
like that.
the reason I say that is because they have so many things working against them. If they and I would love to see them defy the odds and get through all of that. But
Mm.
there's so many factors pulling in the same way. All celebrity couples usually end the same way, with the exception of one here and two there. So it's a celebrity couple, even though it's only
Hey,
one
like,
celebrity.
Yo, the wolves is at the gate, bro. And what she's gonna have to learn is to not show everybody out here in the media what she's thinking
It's too
because they're
late.
gonna
she's
the
doing
It's too
wolves
late.
because
Huh?
she's so young. That's why
It's too
yeah.
late.
she's
And
so young.
now that they know that she's now in their mind, they think she's all about her. Oh,
Mm.
you think they was relentless at first.
Yep. Turn it up.
Wow.
But
Watch,
It's coming. And the
they're
wild part
gonna
about it is
disrespect the shit out of her.
it's not just them. It's other cats, agents. Uh, hey, my man, investors. They all come. They all come in, and hopefully, he got the right people in this corner that'll be able to advise him well in order for him to not make any mistakes and be able to look out for these cats that's coming. So they come. Um,
he gonna do what he want to do. They gonna
yeah,
they gonna
yeah.
get.
Just call it what it is
They gonna,
because
What you
most
think?
of
I,
the
Hold up.
I think
people,
it's gonna last longer.
Before we wrap it up, what do you think? What do you think, Don? What do you think, in your honest opinion?
They're going to get married because he's green and he doesn't know any better, and he's gonna be stressed out.
She
And
doesn't know any better either. Okay, let's go ahead.
but
Go
she
ahead.
may get a bug in the ear, like, okay, let me wait for him to get that 4-year deal, 300 million from whoever, Jacksonville Jaguars, something like that. And then if I'm tired of him and I'm seeing all these other athletes that I'm actually really attracted to,
and now you're in the circle, so you can get to some of them. You know.
Mm,
yeah,
So
okay.
so when the groupies get a hold of her, she gonna change.
I promise.
And and
I
and when
promise.
Travis get around men, he's gonna change. This is my point. I was gonna hit it with a plus or minus 2 years.
Okay. Plus,
Plus or minus
plus, easy.
plus
Yeah,
2 years.
yeah, plus two
I
years.
think two
Yeah,
years is the shelf life on this relationship.
I said like five. Like five.
yeah. I think it's gonna go longer than two.
Yeah.
Because
Not that we
when
should be
Travis,
betting on. Not that we should be actually.
That's where we at with
Not
it. I think
not
the
that we
over
should
on 2.5.
actually
we
be
don't
sitting
want it
here
to fail.
debating.
We don't want it to fail, but hey, look at how many people J Lo done been with, and look at the things that happens. These people, they meet people, and then they learn that you know you're not who I thought you were,
It's puppy dog.
or I've changed. And when Travis Hunter start going to different games in different cities, he's
Hmm.
going to run into a whole bunch of different groupies at different times, and he's going to run into a groupie, the super groupie that knows the game better than all and looks good enough to overcome any kind of defense he might have. And then the next thing you know, he's gonna come home and he's gonna have that big ass bottom lip sticking out, and he's gonna be
So
like,
so so check it.
"I don't want this no
They
more."
they ain't got no kids, right?
No, thank
No.
goodness.
Oh oh, she'll put an end to all of that
Oh
Or
yeah.
you think they're gonna? So what
because
you?
she's
Do
going
they have a
everywhere.
date?
She's going
Do they have a marriage
everywhere.
date?
Hold on. She's going everywhere.
But why would she do that when
She
she's already bored at signing autographs?
for the signing autographs because she gonna
Oh,
see the wolves at the door. And she gonna be like,
Marketing.
okay, I got to make sure that I'm there.
Yep.
well, she better hurry up and get in that mentality, because otherwise she gonna hear one wolf come and say, "Ow, thank you,"
Yeah.
but not
Okay.
being there.
Okay. She gonna be there.
Watch.
She gonna be there.
Don't worry.
So you giving it 5 years. That's good and that's generous. And you saying 5 years too,
They've been
which
together.
I
They've been
think is
together.
generous
Hold on.
too.
You know what? They've been together 5 years already. Right. Right.
5 baby years. To me, that's like
Yeah.
5 years is the reverse of dog years.
Okay.
5 years
five
is like
years.
1.5 years when
5
you're
years.
a teenager.
Hey, what's the average time frame that you look at when cats get in a relationship, they get married or whatever?
Wait,
What's the average time? Seven, right?
I'm talking
It's
about
always
in
usually about
America.
7. Yeah.
America's
Well, what?
divorce USA, man.
Well,
Everything, fifty
it's.
percent of
I'm asking.
marriages end in divorce.
It's 7. It's about 7 years.
I don't know what the average of the years are, but I know
It
that they
is.
all
I'm
end
I'm
in
telling you, it's
divorce,
7 years.
most of them.
It's 7 years.
mm,
Yeah. Matter of fact, Ray just came back. He came over the top and he was like, yeah, he researched it. It's 7 years. Seven
okay.
years is usually when you hit that. Matter of fact, even boyfriend and girlfriend, about that 7 year stretch. Hey, what you
Yeah.
gonna do? What you gonna do? We get married or what? What are we doing here? You
Right.
know what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
people in relationships that have been married, the first 7 years is a little on the tough side because y'all still individuals and y'all going through your issues as far as learning and knowing each other and all that. But that's usually the average time. They've been together 5 years right now,
Okay.
right? 2 more years, we see if they're gonna still be there.
That's what I said. 2 years is the shelf life
This is different.
right now for me.
Yeah. No,
And
no.
this is very different because
Yeah. I don't want to be.
he's not like your everyday person in the United
Hold on,
States that a
hold on.
statistic.
I got to hear what Don is saying because Don is on the show specifically because of his age and um,
Yeah.
being closer, and they think different now.
Oh
They
yeah.
Okay,
don't
go
think
ahead.
like us now. All right.
Yeah. And what was I gonna say? This situation is extremely unique compared to like regular relationships because of his potential, because of his earning, what he can bring to the table and everything. And I gauge his mentality towards dating as head over heels, puppy dog love, and he might not realize like that it's not scarce for him. You know what I mean? Like he might still think to himself like he's still that kid in high school when he's basically the man now. He doesn't really know what
Mm-hmm.
a lot of guys don't know what being the man is.
But
Even don't know.
maybe he just was raised that way because Travis Hunter is strong mentally. I
Yeah, he's
believe he
very
knows.
very smart.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but you can
So
have
I
sports and you can have the ability to learn
no.
really. You might not know nothing about social street smarts. You know
So
what I mean?
you telling me? So he's a nerdy socialite.
Yeah,
Well.
dirty
Well.
rich.
I can
Anyway.
agree with that.
Dirty.
Anyway, guys, we're gonna go in ahead and sounds like we could probably get a little bit more in depth, but our time is pretty much ran out and we're over. Uh, this is gonna be interesting. This is gonna be interesting to keep an eye on. and see where this thing is gonna go. Don, I want to thank you very much for coming on and giving us your perspective on this deal. CJ, my brother, as always, it's always great whenever we get together and whatnot. I tell you right now, I could do this from here to eternity with this guy. This is my brother right here.
Oh,
So,
we're gonna finish this conversation in the office tomorrow, and you already know how that's gonna go.
you know,
We might
so
have to set up a camera in the office to get some more footage. In fact, I'm putting one in my bag tonight.
so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna end this joint right now, man. And we're just gonna say we want to thank you all for checking it out. If you got anything you want to say about this, just go on ahead and put it in the comments, add, subscribe, and let us know what you're thinking and how you feel about this particular topic. And just let us know. So I'm just gonna say we're gonna sign off. This is another episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Game.
Yes, sir.
Game.